You finally get the person on the phone who's interested and you're having a very good conversation. They're friendly. You get along with each other. You talk about relatable topics, kids, or I'd be bring up their grandkids, just talk about just different things, and real nice people, real down to earth. And then you give them a quote, and then they hang up on you. Like you can't get another word out, and
Like
that call is over.
the collapse continues. More carriers exiting the market. Um, I have on good authority, the show isn't over yet. You thought it was bad when you saw Great Western announce their closure. You thought it was scary when Columbian was closed up in the middle of a Friday afternoon. You haven't seen the end of it yet. Adam, I have it on good authority. Up to 3 more carriers that people haven't even heard of might be done yet. And I think the phone is the cause. Today, we're going to talk about, did the phone cause the collapse? Maybe part 4, maybe part 5, however you want to phrase it. But we're going to hear it from your perspective today. How maybe your experience trying to sell over the phone can lead others into hearing how that may have, not you, but as a whole, caused the state of the industry we're in right now. How's that sound for today's topic?
Yeah, I think it sounds good. Yeah, I would say well, I would say about a year ago, I got back out into the field. Uh, when I left my prior company, I sold a little bit out in the field, and then I actually kind of bought into a lot of the what else was out there. I bought into like a lot of these different telesales guys on YouTube, and you know the thing is, it's like anything else. Like all you see is the good stuff. Like you don't hear about the negatives or the bad stuff or just what a huge investment it could entail and everything else. But yeah, I mean, I think that my experience in telesales, it didn't work for me. It more than likely probably also hasn't worked for a lot of other people out there. And the difference is, like me failing in the telesales market just meant that I'm back out in the field selling, where I think a lot of people, maybe they got into the business to do telesales with really uh, no reason or not wanting to ever have to go out in the field. And when they failed at telesales, then that was it. They were out of business. And because of that, then, well, who's keeping up with their business? The few apps that those agents wrote, and now they're out of the business. Who's keeping up with that business? When we talk about agents writing poor quality business, it could be that, but it could also be those that wrote a few pieces of business, then they decide, you know what, this isn't for me. They're out of the insurance industry completely. They get hit with chargebacks. They don't care. They're not here anymore to deal with them. That's somebody else's problem. But also, I think is affecting the insurance carriers when it comes to that, with brand new people writing business over the phone, then not lasting in the business, and then what are they going to do with like I said, the profitability overall, as we can see, has greatly affected a lot of the different carriers out there. And and it could just be the inexperienced people leaving the industry quickly, and no one being there to keep up with the bad business that was written.
Yeah, we got a new computer over the weekend. I'm excited that I can see better, see you better. Maybe I look better, maybe I sound better, but I haven't figured out how to turn the notifications off yet on the text messages. So I apologize to any of the cross audio that causes today. Invested in my business in a better computer. I just haven't figured that part of the computer out yet. But Adam, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different categories in the next 17 minutes we can tackle on why I think telesales is a failure in many cases for many people. And maybe you can give me your inside experience as to how those aspects of telesales for you may have led to your return, thankfully, to field sales. Let's start with leads. I think it's important when we're talking about an agent who's purchasing their own leads, not having leads supplied to them, to realize that leads are expensive and cheaper telesales leads are even worse. like a $10 lead that's resold over and over again is probably setting yourself up for disaster. What was your experience in your telesales time with lead generation?
Well, I hired some guys to put together all of my Facebook campaigns for me. So I was self-generating the leads. Well, basically self-generating. I was paying some other people to set the whole thing up for me. I kind of figure someone else knows how to do it, let them handle it. I got other things to do. So they've kind of built it out for me. They put together some pretty good ads. I mean, honestly, the leads I think were pretty good. They were very specific to like what we were selling. Um, Now we in order, because they were so specific, I mean, in order to generate enough leads, we had to run those ads, run those campaigns in multiple states. I think we were running the ad in about 16 states. So we had the ads going all over the place, and that was driving the lead cost down, where we were able to get a lot of leads for, you know, not a ton of money. I'd say probably 7 to maybe $10 a lead. But the problem was, it wasn't the leads. We had plenty of leads coming in, but the investment, keeping up with the investment, and trying to get in touch with the people over the phone. Uh, I mean, we had like a platform that did all of the dialing, where it was partially automated, but not completely. Like you still had to be sitting in front of the computer and like watching the dialing. And if you wanted to send the person to like voicemail, you could do that. Or if you wanted to send like a pre-recorded voicemail to them, you could, things like that. But it I mean, it was very time consuming. Honestly, the hardest part was just getting people on the phone. I mean, we would call from local numbers, we would call from out of state numbers. I mean, we tried everything we could. I mean, we would do it the whole, people say, do the triple dial 3 times in a row. Sooner or later, they'll pick up. We would try that. I mean, like I said, the hardest part was just getting people on the phone. And I think what happens is people see an ad, they respond to it. And then they see another ad and they respond to that one. And then they see another one. It's like kind of like, direct mail. You get those people where they just fill the car out all the time. Well, I think it's like the Facebook leads is like people like that on steroids,
But it'd be
where
worse,
just,
like if you're sitting there filling out a direct mail card, and as you filled it out, someone was banging on the window. Here's another one. Here, fill this one
yeah,
out. And then
yeah,
here, call this one too. Like they're getting so direct targeted at the moment they click on one ad. Maybe they're in a really bad spot and they really want insurance because someone just died, and they just start responding to all of them. And then before you know it, they're getting the pre-booked campaigns and the GHL
yep.
links. And before you know it, 72 people are calling them, and then they don't answer any of them because they're bombarded. And that's a natural resistance reaction to us in sales overreacting because Mabel responded to 6 leads over the course of 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what was happening. I think people were being bombarded with agents calling them. I was calling off of my own campaigns, but other people had their campaigns going as well. And uh, I mean, I think people just nonstop all day were just being bombarded with triple dials, and to the point where then they just block the phone number. You can't get them, or they push you to like scam alert or whatever, and then anybody else you call, then it says possible scam when you're calling, and then right away they're skeptical to answer their phone. And then you finally get the person on the phone who's interested, and you're having a very good conversation. They're friendly. You get along with each other. You talk about relatable topics, kids, or I'd bring up their grandkids, just talk about just different things, and real nice people, real down to earth. And then you give them a quote, and then they hang up on you. Like you can't get another word out, and
Like,
that call is over. Or like
yeah,
you just say one wrong thing, they hang up on you, and you're never going to get a hold of that person ever again.
yeah.
And that was to me, same thing, frustrated. It was hard enough to get somebody finally to answer the phone. And then once they do, it's like, yeah, you say one wrong thing or they don't like the quote, then that friendly person that was having a good conversation with you is like, screw that guy. And they hang up and you never are able to get in touch with them ever again.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I like about the field sales is just that, uh, I mean, I can work a lead both ways. I can call the lead. I can set the appointment up. If they don't answer the phone, well, I can still go out and see the person. And to me, it's just, I like building those relationships face to face. Just what I've always done. Like I said, I tried it, but the investment, I bet I invested close to 20,000 into it, trying to
Probably.
build something that would work. And just like I said, but it was mainly more the ad spend too. Like, God, every week I was just getting hit with these huge ad spend charges, and it was not profitable. The investment that I put into it, it wasn't profitable. I was writing maybe one to maybe two apps a week, like compared to out in the field where there's not many days that I go without writing at least something.
Yeah.
Last week was like the first week I had like one day where I didn't write anything. And it's like, man, I can't remember the last time I had a day like this. Like I'm always writing at least one more, usually more than one app in a day. So, but over the phone, I wasn't getting those sort of results. Like I said, I mean, I think that a lot of places out there, they, like I said, they sugarcoat it. They make it sound good, like you're going to make all this money, and
In your underwear.
everybody's willing to talk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Super easy. Yeah, all you got to do is answer the phone or make those phone calls. Because I did the other side too. I was even doing the live transfer side for a while. I got tired of doing the lead generation. Decided, well, let's try the transfer side instead, where we just pay per transfer. And I mean, it was kind of the same thing. You don't know what the person's telling them before they get to you, but kind of the same thing. A lot of tire kickers, not really getting a whole lot of people that were ready to move forward with things. And then, like I said, then there's no follow up. I mean, I don't feel like there's a lot of follow up face to face, but like if I give somebody a quote face to face, then they're just kind of like, I don't know. Like, well, there's ways to like work through those sort of things where I can still get a sale where over the phone, I'm just getting hung up on.
Yeah, I think the reality is there's so much more tech necessary for follow-up through, automation campaigns that if you're not having someone do it and set it up and manage it and improve it for you, it just there's I tell people all the time on recruiting calls, there's so much more tech involved with telesales. Face to face, you get contracted, you get your licensed, you're contracted, we go through some training, we set you some appointments, you print out your leads, and you prove to us if you're gonna go out and work or not. Telesales, 35 state licenses, go high level. It's a lot more setup involved. But one of the other things, now this isn't an anti telesales conversation, but maybe it's more a realistic one. Adam, how much of the business that you ran into was not only a high guaranteed issue percent, like the sickest of the sickest people were answering live transfers with one leg on oxygen, dying of cancer, God rest their soul, or what percentage of them, on top of that, was the worst age demographic calling on a final expense lead, like 45 to 59, or even younger at times? How often did you encounter that over the phone?
Yeah, quite a bit. You're again, yeah, talking about like the unhealthy, the guaranteed issue and all of that. I mean, you're going to run into that face to face as well, but uh it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit different when you're on the phone compared to in person where you can kind of see what you're dealing with, you can kind of see the surroundings and everything else. I mean, where I can kind of judge a little bit more when it comes to, I don't like to prejudge too much, but I mean, you can still kind of judge, what you think. Like over the phone, I'm not going to, or face to face, like I'm not going to throw a quote out there like $150 a month if I know there's no way in hell that person's going to be able to handle that every month. But over the phone, you can't really see what's going on. You can't really see those surroundings and what's going on behind them and everything else. But like we said, though, I think that, I mean, there's people out there that have been very successful at telesales. That's
Mhm.
fine. I'm happy for them. Great.
Yeah, very few
But
of them,
in,
really.
yeah, but in the end, I just, talking about the carriers that are like leaving the market. And, I don't think it's just because of the telesales agents that are writing business like on a regular basis, but a lot of people that just wanted to get into the insurance business, they bought into all that stuff and they failed. They left the business, and then there's just a lot of business there that's not being
Taken
a
care of.
lot of, yeah, exactly. People's policies, payments being missed. No one's there to keep in touch with those people and keep that business on the books. Where local business, I mean, I'm going to do everything I can to get in front of the people again and do what I can to conserve that business and see to it that it's not going to affect the persistency in that. So yeah, I think that's it. Not just people that have been successful, even those that have been successful telesales. I mean, still the persistency we know historically isn't as good as face to face. And
Yeah.
and when we talked about the products, how they really weren't set up, a lot of them for telesales back in 2020. I mean, they were just going off of products that were already available and the underwriting that was already there and the rates that were already there. So maybe in the future, maybe those are the sort of things that maybe you're going to have to be looked at and adjusted, uh, and maybe set up different products that are specific to telesales and products that are specific to face to face.
Yeah, I think part of the issue too, not necessarily in your experience with telesales, but others out there, is that it's very easy to hit play and record conversation. It's very difficult to actually have a conversation based off of experience in the field, on the phones, buying the leads, giving the conversations, presenting to the people. That's a whole different level that people don't realize, that if you're engaging and working with somebody and following somebody, like, when have they done it last? How have they done it? How much have they done it? What worked? What didn't? Like, having those kind of conversations can protect you from latching onto someone that doesn't know what the crap they're talking about. It's so easy nowadays to be all talk on social media and get all kinds of interaction because you know how to say something, but it's way different to actually be someone that knows what they're doing.
Well, yeah. I mean, we see that all the time. We see people that, well, honestly, that was really kind of what got me into doing what I do when it comes to social media and just doing the different videos. And I mean, I just remember, someone that I had communicated with a little bit that I would see them posting videos and stuff on YouTube or different Facebook groups. And I'm just like, man, what's this? What does this guy know? Like, he's making himself out to be an expert and people are buying into it when really, I mean, I don't really feel like he's really been that successful. So, that to me, that was encouraging to me to really start doing something when it came to social media and providing my own expertise after, being successful in the business for many years, not only as a personal producer, but also as as an agency manager, as a regional director for one company, working about half the country at one point. So, uh, like I said, yeah, there's a lot of it out there where there's a lot of fakers out there that maybe are good talkers, but I think people really need to maybe do their own research a little bit when they're taking advice from people. I know one person always told me, don't take advice from people that are making less money than you are. And sometimes I think there's people out there, they make themselves out to be expert. They're like living out of the backseat of their car.
Yeah, no offense to the backseat of your car, folks. There's a way out of that. Don't operate as if that's not the case. I think that in the continued collapse of carriers on the market is an opportunity for people to connect with the right kind of people, to connect with the right kind of carriers, to focus your business, to learn and evolve, and not to fear. Like, the sky might be falling a little bit, but every rainstorm eventually brings out the sun. So if you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what to do and no one will tell me what to do, maybe you can do some reevaluation of who you're working with. But we're going to adapt, we're going to overcome, we're going to roll out new products, we're going to adapt to the challenges, focus our business even more. Heck, 6 months ago, we opened the year talking about keeping things simple. And this is just making it even easier for us, right, Adam?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I've always been about simplicity and not spreading my business all over the place. And even this year, I mean, I could probably count on one hand the number of carriers that I've done business with. Uh, I like to kind of have the go-to carrier and then just maybe a few others outside of that to fill in the gaps when I need to. But yeah, it's all about just keeping it simple. And to me, it just makes your business a lot easier, like, from all sides, even a lot easier to manage and keep up with when you don't have to log into 20 different portals to see how much production you did for the year.
Well said. We appreciate you guys joining us today. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe as the audience grows significantly over the course of the last few weeks, which is exciting. And we'll continue to bring out quality, experience based content, not just stuff to say stuff. Thanks for watching.